China's missing youth. Master plan or misstep in table tennis. Picture this. It's early 2026, and the new table tennis world rankings drop. China, the eternal powerhouse of ping pong, owns the podium in the adult categories as usual. But when you glance at the youth rankings, China is almost nowhere to be found. Yes, you heard that right. The same nation that has dominated the sport for decades barely shows up among the top junior players in the world. Is the Great Wall of Chinese table tennis finally cracking? Or could this be a high-stakes trick, a deliberate gambit to lull the competition? Today, we're diving deep into the rankings and the strategic story behind China's curious absence in youth categories. Buckle up, this is not your typical sports recap. Let's serve it up. Let's start at the very top. Men's senior singles, the elite of the elite. Here, China's presence is still commanding, but not absolute. Out of the world's top 5 men, 2 are Chinese. At world number 1 stands Wang Chuqin of China, leading the charge with the skill and confidence of a seasoned champion. Not far behind, at number 3, is Shidong, another Chinese rising star carrying the torch. These two names ensure the Chinese flag still flies high in men's table tennis. Yet, look who's crashing the party. Brazil's Hugo Calderano sits at world number 2, a trailblazer from Latin America, smashing through what used to be an exclusively Asian stronghold. How often have we seen a Brazilian ranked this high in table tennis? Hugo's ascent is huge, pun intended for the sport, proving that world-class talent can emerge far from the traditional powerhouses. Meanwhile, Tomokazu Harimoto of Japan holds the number 4 spot, and Truls Moregard of Sweden rounds out the top 5. That's 5 men from 4 different countries, a truly global top tier. China has 2 of the top 5 here, but the other 3 come from Japan, Sweden, and Brazil, reflecting a new diversity at the summit of men's table tennis. Imagine the rallies, the Chinese maestros versus the flair of a Brazilian attacker, a Japanese prodigy's speed, a Swedish strategist's spin. The men's senior scene is alive with variety. China is still king, but they're fending off more challengers than ever. It sets the stage: experience, consistency, and a dash of Chinese dominance versus a hungry pack of international stars. Now, shift to the boys, U19 youth rankings, and here's where the plot twists. The top 5 junior boys in the world paint a dramatically different picture. China has only 1 player in this youth top 5. Instead, it's Japan that shines like the rising sun, claiming the top 2 spots. At world number 1 is Sora Matsushima of Japan, a teenage sensation who's taken the junior circuit by storm. Right on his heels at number 2 is Reiusei Kawakami, another Japanese prodigy nearly as formidable. These young guns are spearheading what many are calling a youth takeover by Team Japan. They're fast, fearless, and fiercely determined. The kind of players who grew up watching icons like Harimoto and now want to one-up them. China's lone flag bearer here is Wen Ruibo, holding the world number 3 junior spot. Wen is clearly talented. You don't reach number 3 in the world by accident, but he's surrounded on all sides by non-Chinese rivals. In fact, the world number 4 junior is Benjamin Faraji of Iran, and number 5 is Alan Kurmangaliev from Kazakhstan. Take a moment to appreciate how remarkable that is. An Iranian teenager and a Kazakh teenager in the global top 5. These names might not have been on anyone's radar a few years ago, but here they are, elbowing their way into the upper echelon. It speaks volumes about the global spread of table tennis talent. Excellence is no longer confined to a few countries. So, in men's U19, Japan dominates with 2 superstars at the top. China has only 1 representative, and fresh faces from Iran and Kazakhstan have crashed the party. It's a youth landscape that would have been hard to imagine a decade ago. Is this the new normal? Japan's rise in youth ranks is undeniable. They've clearly invested in nurturing these young talents. And those international breakout players, Faraji, Kurmangaliev, They hint that the future of men's table tennis could be a lot more unpredictable and exciting. Switching over to the women's senior rankings, and we're back to a scene China likes: total dominance. 4 of the top 5 women in the world are Chinese. It's almost a clean sweep. The reigning world number 1 is Sun Yingsha of China, commanding a whopping points lead over everyone else. Right behind her, world number 2 Wang Manyu, China. Number 3, Chen Xingtong, China. And at number 5, Kuaiman, China. All fortify China's Great Wall at the top. These women are powerhouses, seasoned, unyielding, and used to standing on podiums together. Who's the lone non-Chinese in this top 5? At world number 4, we see Zhu Yuling, representing Macau. She's a Chinese-born star playing under a different flag. Essentially, it's China, 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 and a dash of not quite China. In practice, the Chinese system still claims her legacy. The message in women's senior is loud and clear. China has an iron grip on the highest level of women's table tennis. Even beyond the top 5, if you peek at the top 10, you'll find a couple of Japanese names like Mima Ito and Hina Hayata, and the teenage phenom Miwa Harimoto making her debut among the elites. But at the summit, the Red Empire's queens reign supreme. For anyone following table tennis, this isn't shocking. China's women have been the benchmark for excellence for years. Still, seeing 4 out of 5 in 2026 confirms that their pipeline at the senior level is as robust as ever. It's almost as if all the emerging challengers still hit a great wall when they reach the top. The wall built by Sun Yingsha and her compatriots. And now, perhaps the most surprising category of all, girls, U19, youth rankings. Here, China is nowhere in the top 5. That's right, 0 Chinese girls among the world's junior top 5. Instead, it's a showcase of Japan's next-generation talent and a few other rising stars. Miwa Harimoto, remember that surname? Stands as the world number 1 junior girl, and she's doing it in style. Miwa, the kid sister of men's star Tomokazu Harimoto, is only in her mid-teens, yet she's already commanding the junior girls' game. In fact, her points lead is astronomical, a testament to how many titles she's likely racked up. Right behind her at world number 2 is Mao Takamori of Japan, another phenomenal talent making waves. Japan doesn't stop there. Skip down to number 4 and you'll find Miku Matsushima, Japan. If the name sounds familiar, yes, she's Sora Matsushima's younger sister, and together, this sibling duo is making the Matsushimas a household name in junior table tennis. Japan thus claims 3 of the top 5 spots in the girls' ranking, truly dominating the youth scene on the female side as well. Filling out the rest of the top 5 are players from South Korea, Heo Yerim at number 3, and Chinese Taipei, Wu Jia-en at number 5. It's an impressive international mix. We even see talents from Taiwan and Korea at the forefront. Notably, an Egyptian prodigy, Hana Goda, lurks just outside the top 5 at number 8, underscoring again that young talent is bubbling up everywhere from Egypt to East Asia. But the elephant in the room, China's complete absence here. For a country that historically produces champion after champion, how could none of its junior girls be in the world's top 5 or even top 10 in 2026? It's almost unheard of. This stark contrast, Chinese women sweeping the senior ranks yet no Chinese in the junior top spots, raises big questions and a bit of drama. Is China's development pipeline for women faltering, or is something else at play beneath the surface? So, what on earth is going on? How can China be ultra-dominant in seniors, but nearly invisible in juniors at the very same time? The world is asking, is this a sign of weakness or a sign of strategy? One theory making the rounds is downright fascinating. China might be deliberately holding back its youth players. Yes, you heard that right. The idea is that China isn't sending all its best teenagers out to chase junior titles. Instead, they're keeping some prodigies in the shadows, training hard within the brutal domestic system while they scout international opponents. In other words, let Japan's wunderkinds and the rest of the world's rising stars show their hands now, rack up rankings and headlines. Meanwhile, the Chinese coaches are watching. They're studying every strength and weakness of these up-and-comers from Japan, Europe, Korea, everywhere. Crazy theory? Or crazy like a fox? Think about it. China has the deepest talent pool in table tennis. There are probably teenage phenoms in China who could contend for those top spots, but perhaps they're not playing the international junior circuit extensively, so they don't appear in the rankings. The Chinese system has always prioritized long-term domination over short-term glory. It's possible they believe exposing their young players too early gives rivals a chance to study them. Instead, by keeping their cards close to the chest, China can analyze others. Then, when these Japanese and international youths graduate to the senior level, China will unleash its next wave of stars, already equipped with tailored strategies to counter every rival's game. It's like a chess match. Sacrifice the early moves to dominate the endgame. Of course, this is a theory, a dramatic one at that. There's a simpler possibility too. Maybe China's current batch of youth just isn't as strong as usual, or they've had less international exposure due to recent events and development cycles. Maybe Japan simply outworked them at the junior level this time. The truth might be a mix of both. China could be recalibrating its youth program while keeping an eye on the global field. The big question: masterplan or flaw? So here we stand, at a crossroads in table tennis history. China's veterans are on top as always, but Japan's wunderkinds are sprinting ahead in the youth race. Other nations, from Brazil to Iran to Kazakhstan, are crashing the elite ranks, adding new flavors to the game. And in the midst of it all, China's next gen is oddly quiet. Now you have to wonder, and I know I am, is China's youth absence a glaring weakness or part of a grand master plan? Was this an unintended slip in their sports dynasty, or the calm before a calculated storm? Only time will tell as these junior players grow and the Chinese hopefuls emerge from the shadows. One thing's for sure, the table tennis world is heating up with drama, talent, and intrigue like never before. And so, I'll leave you with this final serve. Is the Chinese youth void a sign that the dragon is finally tiring? Or is the dragon merely coiling, readying its next strike? Join the debate and let us know what you think. Until next time, keep your paddles ready and your eyes on the ball. The future of table tennis might just depend on it. Catch you in the next one.